GCSE French Grammar, Part 1, the present tense. In your GCSE French, you need to include as many tenses and fancy grammar to get a grade 7, 8 or 9. And since there are not many YouTube videos online for you to use, here I am. Feel free to skip around. We'll be looking at how to form the present tense and present tense practice. In French, there are two types of verbs, regular and irregular verbs. Regular follows a set pattern that you can learn, whereas irregular has no pattern but are the most used verbs. There are three types of regular verb endings, so ER verbs, IR verbs, RE verbs. They all have set endings for the present tense that you will have to learn. Here are the regular verb endings. So you can see the coloured ones on the left corner are just the endings by themselves, and then at the top we have them in use. So we're looking at the IR verb finir, the ER verb parler, and the RE verb attendre. So I would suggest to pause this video and take notes of these endings if you don't have them already. And we're now going to move on to some regular verb practice. So here's some practice. I want you to complete and conjugate these verbs. Conjugate just means to change it in the form of whether it's present, past, future, and who is speaking. Is it singular, plural, etc. So there are 8 questions here. Pause to answer, and I'm going to go through the answers now. So here you can see it's je joue for ER verbs. For je, it would just be the ending E. Tu danses, because for ER verbs for tu, it ends in ES. For finir, il, it's IT. On regarde is just without any ER. Nous attendons for attendre. Vous parlez, but you don't say the Z for parler. Ils commencent for commenceur. And elles travaillent for travailleur. So it's also important to note that you don't say this part of the verb here and this part of the verb. So the ENT, they're silent. Now we're going to look at irregular verbs, which you also need to know. So here are the present forms of the 4 most important irregular verbs. So we have être, which is to be, avoir, which is to have, aller, which is to go, and faire, which is to do. So in generally speaking English, we tend to use these 4 verbs the most, and it's the exact same with French. These are the 4 most important verbs, and they all happen to be irregular, so it's definitely necessary for you to learn them. So take note of these, and we're now going to carry out some practice. So I want you to translate the following mini paragraph into French. I have a lot of chocolates, but now my sister, she is hungry. My parents, they do a lot of exercise and they are hungry. So I made this little paragraph because it has lots of the irregular present tense endings that we just looked at. So pause because we're now going to look at the answers. J'ai beaucoup de chocolat, mais maintenant ma sœur, elle a faim. Mes parents, ils font beaucoup d'exercices et ils ont faim. Thank you for watching this video. There's going to be a lot more grammar videos coming out, but you can also subscribe for GCSE English, GCSE Religious Studies, and GCSE Geography. Again, thank you for watching and see you soon.